Hey everybody, regardless of your political affiliation, the Republican debate just finished last week, and something came to my mind about a term that's normally political terminology, right? And it's the thought process of a lame duck. Now, if you don't know what a lame duck is, it's an office holder who has lost an election or they're not returning to office and their term hasn't expired. And what typically happens is that their influence actually diminishes over time as they are going out the door, right? So I'm curious, are you a lame duck Scrum Master? I ain't trying to bring it up, dog, for real. Roll that footage. All right, everybody. Today we are bringing the heat. I mean, I really don't know if you've ever felt this before, but when you are a lame duck Scrum Master, life freaking sucks for real. Because what you have to understand is like the political terminology is your influence is waning, even though you still had a title, right? And it could be many reasons why it's happening, right? Like I remember Scrum getting kind of kicked out the building, and you could see it coming, and then you could see your influence going down. And I clearly remember being in that situation. And I was really a good person overall. So they tried to find other things for me to do, and it just was horrible. Like I didn't do nothing wrong. It's just they just wasn't feeling it. And so I remember like losing that influence, right? It really sucks, man. I mean, it really, really sucks. But here's the deal, right? Let's talk about it, right? My situation, Scrum got kicked out the building. That's when I first experienced it, right? But let's talk about, some classic reasons on why, Scrum Masters or the things that cause Scrum Masters to kind of become lame duck Scrum Masters. Probably the top of the list is trust. Like, literally. A Scrum Master that loses trust with their team is going to have a huge challenge rebuilding that trust. I mean, you can do something that can just mess everything up. And when you do that thing that mess everything up, you got a whole problem, I remember seeing a Scrum Master that like was overcommitting the team, right? And man, that team it was bad, right? And so once they lose trust in you, once they lose trust in any kind of leadership that you bring to the table, true leadership, servant leadership, transformational leadership, adaptive leadership, it doesn't matter, right? Because they look at you as being part of the problem. They look at you as being a person that probably has a hidden agenda. They look at you as being dishonest. So once they lose trust, man, it's a whole problem, right? It's foundational. Go read Lencioni, right? Number two, a Scrum Master that's not agile. Like, the thing about agile is the word. Back in the day, there's this rumor that agile was going to be called adaptive, something like that, right? And adaptive and agile points toward things being dynamic, points toward things, changing, points toward things like flowing. You understand what I'm saying? And a Scrum Master that can't do that sucks, right? A Scrum Master who is resistant to change sucks, right? A Scrum Master who doesn't keep themselves up to date to the latest practices, don't go train themselves, don't learn nothing whatsoever. They suck, man. They suck. So a Scrum Master that's not agile is horrible. It's just horrible, right? Anyway, number three, a Scrum Master that think they in charge. Like they over here like, I'm the dominant here. I'm the dominant. And so they try to use that dominance to do things like macromanage people. I got this dude who always got to get his point across, right? Like he always, this is the way I see this. You know what? I got a question. And it just ain't got nothing to do with the conversation, right? And literally, it just screws up the whole team's collaboration. It just messes up people wanting to be there. So you mess up innovation, creativity, because you're trying to micromanage and dominate. Micromanagement impacts autonomy, and then that leads to a whole litany of stuff, right? So being dominant is not something that you want to do, right? A Scrum Master who doesn't learn, we kind of mentioned this one earlier, a Scrum Master that's not growing in their knowledge is a Scrum Master that becomes obsolete. A great example of this is I just recently had a class where ACSM class, and advanced class is different than the foundational class because you got people that's had some Scrum experience, and we were talking about artificial intelligence, right? And my statement clearly was, if you're a Scrum Master today and you not diving into artificial intelligence in any kind of way, you're gonna be obsolete. Just that simple. So don't a lame duck Scrum Master is neglecting continuous learning. Trust me. And then last but not least, which was my problem back in the day, is the application of Scrum, right? I think that our application of Scrum was counter to the culture. It was completely counter to the culture. And so we failed because of that. The culture didn't find it to be effective. And so they ended up kicking it out the building. We delivered some stuff. It just kind of was a problem, right? There's nothing I can do about it. It's just the way that it happened, right? So what do you see in terms of, what are you going to see on the ground when you see these things, right? You'll see productivity go down. That would probably be an immediate thing, right? Productivity going down would probably be one of those immediate things. Long term, you'll see more turnover, right? People will start leaving, man. People will start leaving. It's one thing to get off your team, but they'll start trying to leave the organization, right? As people stop caring, you'll see the dynamics of the team start to get a little frustrating. There'll be more conflicts happening on the team. Another thing that you can see that is associated with quality. Quality can go down as well. So if you think about productivity, turnover, team dynamics, and quality, those are things that you'll see that's happening on the ground. So that gives you the hint that something's not right? But again, the statement is, what you gonna do about it? You a lame duck. You understand? But you see these things happening around you, and it's like, what the heck am I gonna do? I'm stuck. I've been in that situation, man. I've probably been in 4 or 5 times, man, for real. It's ridiculous. It's a horrible feeling, for real. Anyway, how do you deal with this, man? Yeah, how do you deal with it? I'm telling you, it's a problem, man. It really is a problem. Ways you can deal with it. Obviously, we said not continuing to learn. That is a problem, right? One of the things that you can do for yourself as a Scrum Master is make sure that you manage your future. I try to read a book a month. I try to just go to conferences. I try to make sure that I'm right there with the latest, greatest, whatever it's going to be. I also make sure that I participated in mentoring. And I do go and make sure that I'm kind of coached. So coaching actually helps out a whole lot. Mentoring helps out too. Coaching can allow you to do some self-reflection, and then you can be more aware and do better self-management. Mentoring can help you learn some things and how to do some things because that's more succession planning. So you have somebody more seasoned, I definitely would pair up with them. I'm gonna say to you, man, find something else to do. Find another role to play in. If you love that company, Find something else to do where you can be productive at the company if you love that company. You still can find ways to implement some of your Scrum stuff, but just be real careful. Just find another way to actually be productive within the organization. And last but not least, I would say have dialogue with people, right? Especially with your team. Talk to your team about it. Talk to other people you trust. Like if there's a champion, have a conversation with the champion. If there are peers, start having conversations with peers. All these things will be helpful for you because, again, even if you got to go to another role, that's going to help you move to another role. The other thing I'm going to say to you is sometimes it's just nothing you can do about it. It just is what it is. And I've been in that situation where there's absolutely nothing that I can do. And in those situations, you need to figure out what your next opportunity is going to be. In-house or outside the house, in the organization or outside the organization, you need to figure that out, right? So realistically, a lame duck Scrum Master is going to make a challenge of any team, right? So what you need to do is approach this with as much sensitivity as you can. Try to focus on the solutions that I just gave you and try to get at the root cause of whatever's going on. But man, it sucks, man. I mean, I've experienced it as the problem, right? And just be careful, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So being a lame duck Scrum Master don't feel good to anybody. And I've given you some solutions for it. I think I'm gonna leave it at that before I start crying. I'm not about to cry, y'all. But look, that's it, y'all. Don't be a lame duck Scrum Master. Do whatever you can to get up out of it. Other than that, I'll see you soon. Have a good one. Oh,